Hello and welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. I've been playing a lot of Talisman recently, and I felt like talking about it just a little bit more before moving on to a new topic. One of my favourite things about Talisman as a kid was experimenting with different character selections. I loved the fact that with the expansions you had so many options, and so many different special rules and abilities to explore. I didn't have any other games that had that wealth of variety. And yes, when I didn't have anyone to play against, I would often just sit and flip through the character cards, thinking about the adventures I might have and coming up with little background stories. So I don't really know how interesting this will be to anyone, but while Talisman is still on my mind, I thought I would put together a quick video about the 12 characters that come in the brand new 5th edition core set. And to be clear, it is only 12 characters. The Minstrel and the Druid are for the time being sitting out this edition, although probably not for long. The 12 characters are divided up into 4 evil, 4 good and 4 neutral. The Assassin is probably the most changed, and maybe most imbalanced character here. She is evil, strength 3, craft 3, life 4, fate 3, gold 1, just as the Assassin was in the 4th edition, which already starts her off as a good all-rounder. Then she gets a special ability that lets her assassinate rival characters or creatures when she attacks them. This prevents the opponent from rolling a combat dice and is a massive advantage, although it cannot be used to take a rival's gold or objects. The interesting thing here is that once upon a time the assassin could only use this ability when attacking a character or a face-up creature on the board. This was changed in 4th edition so it could be used against any opponent or creature, and that's the ruling Avalon Hill have adopted here. However, for this new edition, Avalon Hill have made some gameplay changes that have made the assassin even more powerful. In 5th edition, to win the game you have to slay the dragon on the Crown of Command space, and as far as I can tell, there is no restriction on using the assassination ability on that dragon. That seems off to me. I am expecting to see this corrected in a future errata. Regardless, the assassin is a good character for leveling up strength quickly, and you can be quite fearless going into combats. Our second evil character is the Ghoul. He has strength 2, craft 4, life 4, fate 4, gold 1. The Ghoul is a very confrontational character and has slightly more complicated abilities. When he attacks another player, he can choose to use psychic combat instead of battling. This gives him a strong edge over a character like the Warrior, who is normally very difficult to beat in a fair fight. Furthermore, if the Ghoul chooses to take a life for defeating another character, he gains 1 life counter. Gaining lives is different to healing lives, as you can never heal beyond your starting level, but you can gain beyond your starting level. So the Ghoul is frequently going to have more lives than other players, and probably more than he started the game with. Additionally, the Ghoul has an ability that can really put the pressure on other players. If he defeats an enemy in battle, he can keep the enemy as a follower instead of a trophy, and later discard that follower to add its strength to his strength in a battle. If the Ghoul can grab a couple of powerful monsters, maybe a strength 7 dragon, he can make an early dash for the Crown of Command. It's a high risk play, but it can pay off. The third evil character is the Sorceress. She is strength 2, craft 4, life 4, fate 3 and gold 1. This is another one of the more difficult characters that is intended to screw with other players. She begins the game with 1 spell, always nice, and like the Ghoul, she can choose to use psychic combat when attacking other characters. However, instead of attacking another character, she can instead choose to beguile them. All the potential rewards, none of the risks. This special ability has changed significantly from the 4th edition of the game. It used to be the case that if you landed on another character, you could automatically take 1 follower from them, except the Maiden, Unicorn or Princess. Or you could roll a dice to see if you could take 1 gold or 1 object from them instead. On a 6 you could beguile a good character. On a 5 or 6 you could beguile a neutral character, or on a 4, 5 or 6 you could beguile an evil character. The new rule for the Sorceress now states that you must make a successful roll in order to take 1 gold, an object, or a follower. No more freebie followers for the Sorceress. Her abilities obviously make the Sorceress a very competitive and aggressive character, and she will try to beguile heroes every chance she gets, purposefully targeting evil rivals as much as possible. So, not a great character for players who don't like to play mean. The final evil character is another magic user, the Wizard, one of my personal favourites. Strength 2, craft 5, life 4, fate 3, gold 1. I like the Wizard because he constantly churns through spells. He starts the game with 2, and whenever he runs out he can immediately draw a new one. This means he is quite a wacky character to play, constantly gaining randomly drawn powerful one-use abilities. Sometimes he's going to be a very powerful fighter, sometimes he's going to be able to move around the board quickly, sometimes he's going to be difficult to kill. You just never really know what you're going to get. As an added bonus, the wizard also has the ability to choose psychic combat when he attacks a rival character. He really leans into the chaos of the game, so if you like characters with more consistent abilities, you might want to try someone else. Moving on to the 4 neutral characters, we first have the warrior. Always a favourite and a good choice for younger gamers, as he is a very straightforward beat stick character with a starting ability that levels out some of the game's randomness immediately. He is Strength 4, Craft 2, Life 5, Fate 1 and Gold 1. He has the ability to use 2 weapons in battle and can also roll 2 dice, picking the higher roll. Combined with a high starting strength, he has the tools to be incredibly good at taking down creatures or beating up rival players. He can be a real menace as he hunts down other players, especially early on when characters haven't had the chance to level up. However, the starting fate of 1 is a huge drawback, as you have a lot less control over situations outside of combat. Then we have the Thief, Strength 3, Craft 3, Life 4, Fate 2 and Gold 1. Something of an all-round character to begin with, but the easiest character to buff with objects, because whenever he lands on a rival character, he can immediately take 1 gold or 1 object from them. No fighting or dice rolling required. Additionally, whenever he lands on the village or encounters the market or market day cards, he can take 1 card from the purchase deck without paying. Characters can normally only carry 4 objects, but the thief can easily get a mule, allowing for up to 8 objects. He can keep collecting objects and then visit the alchemist to turn them into gold. He will find it very easy to cross the river without dealing with the sentinel on the bridge, because he just needs to visit the village and get a raft, and he can swipe a talisman off another player with ease. Playing as the thief can make you enemy number 1. Nobody likes having their stuff pinched, so watch out, you will probably get ganged up on. Then we have the troll, the simplest character in the game and one of the hardest to kill. A good choice for players who don't want to deal with a lot of special rules or who just want to punch monsters in the face. He has the highest strength in the game, 6, but also the lowest craft, 1. He starts with 6 lives, making him very robust, but only has a fate of 1 and 1 gold. His special abilities are quite mundane. He doesn't have to roll a dice when visiting the crags, which means there won't be any risk but also no chance of reward. Furthermore, if he rolls a 6 for movement, instead of moving he may heal 1 life. Healing means he can't use this ability to go above his starting level of 6. All in all, the troll is solid and dependable, but a bit slow and uninteresting. You spend a good few turns in any one game doing nothing as you heal, and you don't immediately have a lot of options. You will also experience early highs, like punching out a dragon, and crushing lows, like getting battered by ghosts. The last neutral character is the dwarf. I like the dwarf a lot, but I think he's considered to be quite weak as his abilities are so situational. He has Strength 3, Craft 3, Life 5, Fate 5 and Gold 1. Like the troll, he doesn't have to roll a dice in the crags. However, he also doesn't have to roll a dice in the chasm, or when encountering the maze card. He can evade creatures and characters in the hills, he can add 1 to his dice result in the cave, he only rolls 1 dice when opening the Portal of Power with Craft, and he only rolls 2 dice in the mines. That's a lot more abilities than any other character in the game, but they are all really small. They mainly impact 1 space on the board, 1 card in the adventure deck, or a very specific circumstance. But they all add up, and I like how it feels like the dwarf is constantly getting these tiny little bonuses as he uses his knowledge of caves and mining to great effect. Not a character for people who often forget to employ their special abilities though, as there are quite a few to remember. Finally, we have our good characters, starting with the monk. What a happy looking fella. I don't like this character. He has a debilitating weakness and his skills don't make up for it. He is Strength 2, Craft 3, Life 4, Fate 5 and Gold 1. When in a battle, he is allowed to add his starting craft of 3 to his strength, so he is technically Strength 5 from the start, but only in combat. Do note, he only gets to add his starting craft, so this ability doesn't scale up when his craft increases, a problem that is compounded as the monk is not allowed to use weapons or armour in a battle. A 3-point boost just doesn't make up for that. He does get to add 1 to dice rolls when praying though, and that is very helpful as it does significantly improve the chances of getting good results, and at least he starts with a lot of fate. Still, not a favourite of mine. The next character is the priest, who is the monk on steroids. He is Strength 2, Craft 4, Life 4, Fate 5 and Gold 1, and his list of awesome abilities just highlights the fact the monk needs to be more focused on his devotion and to up his game. The priest begins the game with 1 spell, and like the monk, he gets to add 1 to his roll when praying. Also like the monk, he cannot use weapons, but he is allowed to use armor. However, what really makes the priest one of the strongest characters is the ability to instantly kill any enemy spirit he encounters without the need for psychic combat. When he kills a spirit in this manner, he can keep it as a trophy or cash it in immediately for a spell. And that is a big change from the 4th edition version of the priest. Previously, if the priest chose to defeat a spirit instantly, he had to use it to gain a spell. He couldn't keep it as a trophy. The change for 5th edition makes him exceptionally strong, and if he stumbles across a strength 10 demon early in the game, he is going to very quickly outpace other players. Next is the prophetess. She is strength 2, craft 4, life 4, fate 2 and gold 1. She begins the game with 1 spell, and like the wizard, she can immediately draw a new spell whenever she runs out. That's always fun, and I do enjoy constantly gaining new abilities to use. However, she also has one of the most powerful abilities in the game, Foresight. Once per turn when drawing adventure cards, she can choose to discard one she doesn't like to draw a new one. Being able to dodge those dragons and more easily find powerful items is excellent. She can also, at any time, look at the spell cards of other players, which I have never found particularly useful except for when deciding if I should use a counterspell or not. If you like having a bit more control over your adventure by mitigating the luck of randomly drawn adventure cards, the prophetess is a good choice. Finally, we have the elf, who to me always feels like the dwarf, but not as good. She is strength 3, craft 4, life 4, fate 3 and gold 1. Her abilities are situational, limited to certain spaces on the board, but overall feel much less useful than the dwarves. She can choose not to roll the dice in the forest, and she may evade creatures and characters in the woods. Also, while she is in the woods, instead of rolling to move, she can instantly move to any other wood space in the same region. This limited teleport has benefits. If there is a person in the woods you would like to ambush, or if there is a face-up adventure card in the woods you want to collect, you can instantly teleport there, but it's just too limited to be useful most of the time. You have to choose to teleport before rolling the dice. It would be stronger if you could roll first, then make the call based on the result. You can't use the teleport to move between the outer and middle regions. In the outer region there are only 3 woods, so mobility is limited, and in the middle region there is only 1 wood in total, so you can't teleport anywhere at all. Furthermore, the new fate rules that allow you to spend a fate token to move up to 6 spaces seems to have weakened this ability even further. But there we have it, that's all 12 characters. I definitely have my favourites. I really do like the dwarf, the wizard and the priest. Hey, that's 1 from each alignment. I try to skip playing the elf if I can, but most of the characters I am happy to go on an adventure with. They all have their own little nuances and skills to explore and master, and most of them can do something which feels powerful. So, who would you play? Let me know in the comments, because that is it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like this video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully, I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.